It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris.
And I'm Andrew Duhon. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com. Today's show is a departure from our regular podcast.
Normally we describe this show as a random conversation with people who have nothing in common. Today our guests do have something in common. They're running for the United States Senate. The election is November the 8th, the same day as the presidential election. Although we can't promise you the same level of dramatic fireworks as a presidential debate, we can offer the unique possibility of the participants in this forum getting drunk.
That's because we are coming to you from Wayfare on Freret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Wayfare is a restaurant and bar serving handcrafted food and spirits with a whole new menu and a radically new happy hour. 3-hour happy hour every day from 3 to 6. Drinks and appetizers half price.
Our producer Graham DaPonte invited 7 candidates for the Senate race to join us today. We chose those 7 because they all live in the New Orleans area. Of the 7, 4 accepted our invitation: Charles Marsala, Kaitlin Marone, Vinny Mendoza, and Caroline Fayard. Caroline Fayard subsequently cancelled due to a scheduling conflict, and Vinny Mendoza cancelled yesterday because he didn't realize how long it takes to drive from Alexandria to New Orleans.
And so it is with great pleasure that we introduce you to our 2 New Orleans area candidates for the United States Senate. Charles Marsala. That is so hard. Charles Marsala.
Yes.
And Kaitlin Marone.
And Charles Marsala called me about...
I didn't mind messing it up because he's not here.
He's not here. He called me about 45 minutes ago and explained that he and someone else called Troy Hebert, is that correct, Graham? Troy Hebert are suing the state of Louisiana.
Get him.
Because there's a senatorial debate coming up in a couple of days. Do you know something about this, Kaitlin?
Is this the one where there was you had to have raised or spent $1 million to get in?
Is that what it is?
I don't know. I'm just guessing that was
Well,
it.
this is it, because
Yeah.
Troy Hebert...
I would have thought it was about polling or something, but no.
$1 million.
I don't know.
It was polling combined with $1 million.
Oh.
If it's the one that I'm thinking of.
So Troy Hebert and Charles Marsala decided they would sue the state of Louisiana to try and get them and other people, including you, Kaitlin, included in this debate. This court case was held, this hearing was being scheduled for this morning at 9 o'clock. It's now here in New Orleans, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they're still in court waiting for the judge to proceed.
Whoa.
So Charles called and apologized, said he was looking forward to coming here and then he would have the results of this hearing to tell us and we'd make some news, but he's stuck in court. He might call us during the course of the show. But so our only Senate candidate remaining is Kaitlin Marone.
You win.
Yes.
You won.
Yes,
So
I won the
Kaitlin,
race.
You won it.
Welcome to the Happy Hour
Thank
Senate
you.
debate. Well, it's not so much a debate now, is it?
Well, no, but it's kind of like a happy hour, and some happy hours are slower than other happy hours, It doesn't always, bring in the hordes and masses and whatnot.
So let's do the real introduction of Kaitlin then, shall we?
Okay.
Kaitlin Marone is a New Orleans-based feminist, comedian, and politician. It's pretty short, but is that your whole thing?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
all
it
I
seemed,
say about you?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like enough.
How'd you get
know.
into politics?
Well, I had been making a joke on stage. I'm a stand-up comedian, so I had been making a joke on stage for a while about how I was running for president. And then several people told me that they would vote for me for president, and it got to my head. And then I decided to run for Senate because that's the only one I'm old enough to run for.
Right.
How old are you?
30.
And how old do you have to be to run for president? 35.
Yeah,
And what about the Senate? How old do you have to be in the U.S. Senate?
30.
Okay, so you just squeaked in. Mm-hmm. So what was the procedure for getting on the ballot?
Well, it's really easy. That's why there's 24 people on the ballot. You just pay $600, and then you fill out a form at the Secretary of State's office, and then you're on.
Nice.
And
That's it.
Yeah.
So what happens now? What are you going to do? Who's the street team? What happens?
Well, I don't have a team because the only people that I know are comedians, and they don't have time to help, which is fine.
Yeah.
So you don't know anyone except comedians?
Well, I mean, I know a few other people. Like, I used to have coworkers.
You
I
had
don't
a job
anymore.
at some point?
Yes.
What did you do?
Well, I mean, I have 3 jobs now, but I don't have coworkers, really.
What are they?
I do like survey research for the University of Michigan, and I have a job that I can't talk about, and I'm also an improv teacher.
Okay. I have a job that I can't talk about. If you're
It's
running,
legal.
Let's get talking to it about it.
Yeah,
right?
when if you're running for the Senate, you really need full disclosure. Did you?
Yeah.
Did you publish your or disclose your tax forms?
I didn't because I filed through TurboTax, and it turns out
Yeah.
if you don't save your return, you have to pay money to get it.
Oh,
and
no,
I just
no,
am running
no.
low on
Who's gonna do
campaign
that?
funds.
The
and
IRS won't send you your own tax return.
you have to pay for it if you're getting it from them
Okay.
too.
All right. Well, that's interesting.
But I
okay.
did I've been very clear about my financial situation.
Pretty bad, right?
It's grim.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I live.
Where'd you
I
get?
think this Senate spot is a pretty good paying gig.
Yeah.
How much does it pay? Yeah.
I don't know. You got to imagine
What are
a
the-
couple $100,000 or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, that'd be certainly a increase in the stand-up comedian
Plus
wages.
sponsorships.
Plus
you
the
know?
job I
Yeah.
can't talk
You know,
about. So why
lobbyists.
can't you talk about it?
Well, it's a job for a nonprofit, but I can't talk about it because it involves people not knowing who I am. But it's legal.
People not knowing who you are. Like
Yes.
you're like secret
Not-
shopper.
You're in the Blue Man Group.
Hey, man.
Are you like secret shopper or something?
You
At
could-
Home Depot?
it's something like that, but I can't go into more detail.
Okay. All right.
It's totally legal and not unethical in any way.
Does your best friend know what it is?
Yes.
who's your best friend?
Where's my? Did
Who?
you say who? Oh, I have so many best friends.
Why don't they help you put up flyers and make stump speeches for you?
Okay, well, here's the deal. I haven't done any fundraising because it didn't feel okay to do fundraising, to take money from people when it's clear that I am unlikely to win, right? There's 24 people running, and many of them have millions of dollars.
So
And my whole thing was running. I wanted to run without money. I wanted to do that and see how far I could take it, you know?
Okay.
So I don't have
well,
posters.
you got on this forum.
Right.
Yeah, so
things are working out pretty good in that.
So, the plan is to see how far you can take it. What's your scheme? What's your plan in order to propel yourself into how far you can take it? What are you going to do? If
Okay.
not fundraise, if not, I don't know. What are you going to do?
Well, my campaign has mostly been like social media and internet based.
Okay.
So part of it is over the past few months, I've kind of scaled down my campaign a little bit more just because like it's getting kind of close, I think, between the real bottom of the barrel candidates. And I don't want to talk too much about the other candidates, but there are some that I would prefer to win over others.
Mm-hmm.
well, you
And
can talk about them to us because we don't even know who they are.
Yeah.
right,
Who
you know,
the- who
I
the
mean,
hell are
some of
they?
them I don't know who they are either.
I know David Duke is running.
Right, David Duke is
That's
running.
awesome.
I don't think he'll win, but I do want to get more votes than David Duke.
So that's the plan.
Yeah, that's
That's
my
a goal.
I
that's
kind of
my
like
goal.
that as a platform. I'm just running to get more votes than David Duke, and I'm
Yeah.
30 years old, and I've never run, and I'm a comedian.
Right.
And I don't, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, mostly it was just it seemed like a fun thing to do
What if
to get attention.
Is it kind of a ploy to become a more popular comedian?
Absolutely.
Okay, so why not throw a fundraiser show with like small print? This isn't these funds. We're not really sure what we're going to do with these, but a show
Right.
where you just like the whole idea is we're here to rally to get more votes for Christina than David Duke.
Right.
No,
It's not Christina.
It's
that's
Kaitlin.
Caitlin. Sorry, Caitlin.
Well,
It's okay. The thing is, in that moment, I was like, "Is there a Christina running too?"
it was
And should I
it was
throw
a
my
metaphor.
votes
It
to
was a
her?
metaphor. I was
Yeah,
doing.
no, it was a beautiful metaphor.
Caitlin should take it.
Are you going to play at this fundraiser, Andrew? Will you be in town?
I think it should be comedy, but I'd be glad to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Should be a comedy
Yeah.
fundraiser. Get all these 6 best friends of yours
Right.
who we still actually know who they are. Are any of them funny?
Well, one of my best friends is Addie Nahara, who's been on this show.
She was on here a couple of
times.
weeks ago.
Yep.
She's
Yeah.
funny, and
She's funny.
she just did a live album recording.
Yeah, she did.
So
Nice.
she's available. She'll do it.
Yeah, I know she will.
Okay.
The
No.
flyer's going to look awesome, too.
Hopefully.
We're running out of time in a big way. The election is November the 8th.
Right.
Have you been to other cities besides New Orleans? Have you been to Baton Rouge even?
I've been to Baton Rouge. I've been to Lafayette.
Okay, that's good. And
Again,
what
like
did
this
you
has
do
been
in
a
those
pretty
places?
low key campaign.
Well, that's the main thing is to spread yourself around the rest. That's what they all
Yeah.
say to get
Are
on.
you,
Right, they do
are you-
say that.
Are you disappointed that other candidates didn't show up to this podcast, or kind of relieved?
Both.
Yeah.
I really want to meet them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Charles Marsala, we've had on the show before. He's very nice, actually.
Which one is that?
He's the guy who's the producer of the awesome wildlife effort TV show, and he's saving animals. And he had a giant elephant sculpture of an elephant made that he put in Kenner, remember, in the middle of the street.
Yeah, okay.
He's a pretty interesting
cool.
guy, and he was the mayor of a town called Atherton, California, which is actually Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And he's a very interesting guy, and I don't know why he would run for Senate, but he actually sounds quite persuasive.
Yeah.
He's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, and he showed up here last time he was on the show. He showed up with a film crew. Remember?
Wow.
He had guys shooting stuff. We were all like, quite surprised. So he's pretty together and organized.
Yeah.
He's the one who's leading this effort to have you on the bill for the debate.
That's so sweet of him.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess he's spending his own money to do that.
How would you prepare for the debate?
How would
if he was successful today?
Well, I guess I would have to finally decide if my campaign is a joke or not, right? And then, because that's something that's been up in the air for like the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe figure out if it is what my angle is. If not, I might just answer them how I feel by having my friends come up with ideas.
What sort of questions do they ask in these debates? I mean, we
What you gonna do with my guns? Stuff like
Well,
that.
let's go through your platform.
Okay.
One of your platforms, according to my information that Graham sent me here, is I don't want to take your guns away, but you're making me.
Yes. Well,
2 minutes. Don't they say that?
2 minutes?
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So I go into more detail on my website about that, but like, my main thing is like, it doesn't really matter how I feel about guns, right? Like, what matters is that there's clearly a problem, right? And the people that are deciding if we should have guns or not, are the people that are most influential about like gun policy are people that argue things like, I feel more free if I have a gun and am capable of killing anyone at any minute, right?
Yeah.
And that we should all have them as a way of protecting ourselves. And that the way to solve the problem is by like, I don't know, mental illness lists or whatever, directories. And I just don't think that that is sufficient. And I think that it's kind of a psychotic thought to think like, I feel freer because I'm capable of killing somebody at any time. Although I guess I can see where that's coming from, but I personally don't feel freedom in that.
Yeah.
But I just see, the gun violence has escalated so much, right? That it's like, it's absurd to think that everybody should be able to purchase a gun without tracking them, without like a background check for every time you buy a gun. We care more about tracking like who buys cars. Like, we spend so much more time, like, making sure people are capable of driving cars, making sure people, like, we know where cars go. It's a big deal when a car is stolen. People steal guns. It doesn't matter. We can't trace them a lot of the times. And it's, like, it's just, to me, that's so bizarre.
Well, I don't really hear a policy here yet. Though.
Okay, right. So I guess what I don't know that I have a specific policy. There is a policy that I tell as a joke. Do you want to hear that?
Yes.
I saw a truck recently that had a lot of gun decals on it, pro guns decals. So I knew it was a gun owner, right? There's like like a gun rack, but their biggest decal on the back of their truck was the words "bone collector." And I just think, at least, like, okay, this is like bare minimum policy. Let's not sell guns to people who've already picked out their serial killer nicknames. Right? Like, if you're already advertising that, like, just no, like, that should just disqualify
That's
you.
a good policy.
Thank you.
I'd go with that. So
Yeah.
what this refers, I don't want to take your guns away, but you're making me is like a
Right.
threat. It's a Second Amendment threat, though.
Well,
it sounds like you're
like I'm gonna go-
threatening to take people's guns away.
Well,
Maybe.
It sounds like the sentiment, like, this is why we can't have nice guns.
yeah, that's pretty much what I
That
was
could
going
be,
for.
yeah.
Like, you guys ruined it. We could have had guns, man, but
Right.
now
This is
maybe
why we
we
can't
should.
have nice guns.
Maybe a lot fewer people should be allowed to have guns.
Because
I
people are
wouldn't physically-
abusing the gun ownership by shooting each other,
By shooting, yeah, each
which
other.
is, of course, the point of having a gun.
Right. Yes. By going into places and shooting so many people,
Right.
like so regularly.
But gun owners say that those people who do that are, aberrant.
The outlaws.
Yeah.
Right. There's the
And
idea
that's-
that, like, if
the rest
we,
of us should have a gun so that we can shoot those people.
Right.
It's self-defense is the concept.
Yeah, but like so many people who are responsible gun owners do not take good care of like the security of their guns. They don't I mean, like, people regularly, like, lose guns. Or, like,
Well,
keep
you
them in
know,
unlocked cars.
They're only human.
I know.
They're going to lose.
And it doesn't mean that
guns.
doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means, like, we lose things all the time. Like, maybe it would be a valuable thing for us to consider keeping track of them a little bit better, right? And so, and also, like, making sure that people who have them are trained, understand, like, the gravity of having a gun. And I know,
But what is your actual policy on the senator, though? What do you intend to do if you actually get onto the Senate?
if I get into the Senate,
Yeah, I mean, what would you do?
you know, I don't actually have anything super specific for that, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who are, like, there are a lot of our representatives are working on that, and I think
So your teams, my people are working on
my
it.
people are working on it.
Yeah,
Okay, I
okay.
got the best
That's good.
people. They got the best ideas.
That's how Trump does it.
I know.
He's got himself all the way. You can't get any further than he's got.
Right.
By that answer.
Yes, I
It's
got the
going to
best
be great.
people.
It's going to be great. It's going to
gonna
be
be great.
Going to be so many great gun laws you won't even believe it. Breaking news. Graham DaPonte, come and talk into a microphone here.
I got a call from one of, just now,
Yeah,
this second, from
right.
one of Caroline Fayard's people
Yes.
inviting me to a press conference on Friday morning at the World War II Museum. I don't know
Is
what
she
it is.
declaring
I don't think
war?
they can talk about it. Like Caitlin's job. But.
They're inviting you to
They
a press
invited a
conference.
press
podcast.
Well, at least
or a
we're
press
getting,
conference.
at least
I
we're
don't
getting invited.
I know.
Now
so
that's
I just
something.
wanted
I don't
to-
know.
Breaking news. Just wanted to let you
I wonder
guys
why
know
she
we're
couldn't
on
show up here
Should we
today.
do-
Now she's inviting you to a press conference.
She's very
I wonder what
busy.
the announcement's going to be.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
know.
You think?
I have no idea.
You're not on the inside with these people?
No.
Okay. So you need some policy with I don't want to take your guns away, but you're making that is funny though. Unless you go into this whole thing as a joke, but then
Most of these
Then no
things
one's
were
gonna vote
conceived
for
as well. Yeah, I know.
this one's good. This policy, pay women more than men.
Yes. This was inspired actually by Caroline Fayard's, a big part of her platform is wage equality
Okay.
for women. And while I certainly agree that women should be paid the same amount as men do for the same kind of work, I also just think, like, pay us more. It's a better negotiation to ask for more
Right.
than you want, right?
Right.
But then also, like, our lives are so much more expensive, right? Like, we have, we give birth to children. That's incredibly expensive. Like,
That certainly is.
women are regularly left by the fathers. That's expensive.
Right.
We have to wear makeup all the time. I mean, I know that's small, but, like, in
let's
order to
talk
be
about
taken
those
seriously,
shoes, girl. Let's talk about those shoes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them.
let's
'cause,
talk about them.
you know.
Women's clothes cost way more than men's clothes.
Wait, haircuts cost more than men's
They
haircuts.
do. Everything costs more.
If we, I mean, and
That's
we get.
now you've got a good. Now this is a good policy. Now
Thank you.
that's a really good policy. Pay women more than men. That's a button. See, this is why you need the money.
But
Right.
The
only-
fundraising.
All right. Here's one stipulation, though, I think,
Mm-hmm.
that we can add a bit of an addendum, if you will, to this amendment.
Okay, let's see it.
Can we, if women are across the board paid more than men,
Mm-hmm.
can we then change ladies' night to gentlemen's night?
Absolutely.
Drink specials for gentlemen
Yeah.
every Thursday night.
Gentlemen's
cool. Great.
night.
I'm in.
You're
Yeah.
in.
I'm happy
So
with
that
it.
would be part of the new legislation.
Yeah, and it's just there's going to be no girls at the bars that night. It's just a bunch of dudes high-fiving, drinking dollar
Right.
martinis, but that's cool.
We're just all going to be
You
at
know.
home, like, swimming in our piles of coins, right? Like,
Spending your
what's
extra
his
money.
name? Darkwing Duck, is that the one?
I think
DuckTales? Nah, I
it's
can't
the
remember.
rich duck. I don't know which
yeah,
one
it's
it
the
is.
the
So has
DuckTales. yeah.
anyone interviewed you besides us? Has anyone taken you seriously at all? Have you got any publicity?
Nobody has taken me seriously as a candidate. No.
So you haven't had one
And
invitation?
I was invited to do an interview with David Benedetto. Do you know him? I think he's also part of It's New Orleans. Maybe, I don't know.
Do we know him? David
I'm bad with
Benedetto.
names, as you can see.
Oh.
That's the reading for the blind?
No, it was on like the regular. I mean, it's like local NPR. But anyway, but I thought it
On
was a part of.
NPR? Well, that's significant.
Nice.
But I wasn't allowed to talk about my campaign.
Oh.
I was
What?
told I was at the
Perfect.
beginning, and then I wasn't allowed to because they
Well,
didn't
what
want to
about-
seem like they were giving me preference. Which, like, if you actually heard me talk about my campaign, nobody would ever think that, right?
But hang on a second. Why do they invite you?
Well, they
To
invited me
talk about
yeah.
what?
Well, comedy. We ended up talking about comedy the whole time,
Okay.
which was fine.
Oh, so they didn't invite you because you're a candidate for the Senate.
That is why I was invited. But then
Did they even
when I
mention
got there,
These people need some
No.
sort of lobotomy.
I think so. Well, so yeah.
Well, they are
so
on radio, so that explains something.
yeah. So I
That's
was
very
told when
weird.
I got there that I couldn't talk about the campaign. So
Did they talk about your manicure?
no.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Now, look at these nails.
Pretty nice.
They're all two-tone.
Yeah.
They're gold and purple.
Yeah.
Is that for a team?
Well, I made them LSU colors because I wanted the other. They had been a different color, and I can't have nothing on them. But I wanted everybody, the other candidates, to believe that there was a normal person who was concerned about the death of the tiger.
Mike the Tiger.
So this is in tribute to Mike the Tiger.
Very nice. So this is like to fake out the other candidates.
It was to
sort of
intimidate
psychological
them.
warfare.
I mean, I know it wouldn't,
to
but yeah.
intimidate them to make them think you're a tiger.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
those look like tiger claws now.
I guess they kind of do.
And they're interesting. It's hard to describe. How would you describe them? It's purple on the outside, and the inside has got a sort of a triangular bit of gold.
Yes.
So that's kind of claw-like, I would say. Like
Yeah, I guess so.
So-
I didn't even do that on purpose. It must have been subconscious.
Did you go to LSU?
No.
What school did you go to?
I went to a small public school in North Carolina called Appalachian State University.
Don't know anything about that.
You know, LSU plays Appalachian State quite a bit, I believe. Or maybe it was just a year or two ago. I remember.
Yeah, it seems like they do,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
I don't know if
Okay.
they're in the same. I
No,
don't know.
not in the same football conference.
Yeah.
Or,
It's one of
Yeah,
those fun
really.
ones
Yeah.
where
What
they.
made you come to, well, we should say Louisiana, not New Orleans, because this is about Louisiana.
Right. Well, so I had been, before I moved here, I'd been living in West Virginia, and my time there had come to an end because it's the most, no offense to any West Virginians, but I've never lived anywhere more depressing. So my boyfriend at the time got a job here teaching, and I just followed him down about 6 years ago. He left. I stayed.
He left. He left the job, and you, or just you?
Well, he left the job, and then, yeah, I left, and then he, yeah.
You know, it'd be a
left
great
the
way
city.
to get back at your boyfriend for bringing you here, winning a Senate
Oh,
seat
my
in
God.
I
Louisiana.
know.
That would
Would,
be
wouldn't
amazing.
I know, but I
Nothing
don't-
says fuck you like senator.
Like being a senator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call me Senator Marone.
that's why all 24 of us are in this race, too. Revenge.
Hey, we could take a break for a minute and we could hear a song by Andrew Duhon if you'd like.
That sounds great.
What would you like to hear?
I'll go unpack my git fiddle. You guys talk amongst
Okay,
yourselves.
we'll keep talking for
Okay.
a minute then. So, do you think there's any chance in hell that David Duke will have anyone voting for him? Isn't it over for David Duke?
I would say, okay, so here's my calculation. It's this. I think, at least, okay, in respects to like my campaign, I think there are more white supremacists in Louisiana than there are comedy fans. So,
Okay.
and because of that, I do think that it's possible that he will get some votes. I mean, they're
How's it-
out there.
Is your campaign doing internal polling to figure that out? That
No.
That's what we need. We need internal polling. That's more reason to raise money. That's what they do with all this money.
I know. They do polls. They do.
They do
yeah.
internal polls to find out whether the real, the other polls are correct and whether there's actually more comedy fans than there are white supremacists. You might be surprised about that.
Yeah.
There's a comedy scene in Lafayette that's pretty big.
I know. I go there pretty regularly.
You perform there?
Yeah.
Okay. So that guy, Jason Leonard,
Jason Leonard.
he's got a lot going on. He's got his own column in the newspaper.
I know.
Every Friday.
Jason Leonard is voting for me.
Well, why doesn't he write something about you?
I don't
about
know.
your Senate campaign?
Because he's not interested.
He might if you asked him.
That's true.
Have you really pushed it with any of these people?
No, because I haven't pushed my campaign very much at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need to do it.
I guess.
Because if you want to beat David Duke, it's going to take a bit of
know.
work. You can't just say it.
Right. I know.
Because you know what's that guy we had on the show that ran for mayor a few times? Remember him, Graham? What was his name? This guy who ran for mayor, Manny Chevrolet.
Right.
And I voted for him one time for mayor, and he only got 17 votes.
Yeah.
17.
I plan on getting more than that, but I don't know for sure.
I
already got one.
I wouldn't bet on it because this guy had he was pretty funny and a pretty big campaign. He was driving around the streets with a car with a megaphone and yelling it. And it was pretty entertaining. And he had some fun. And he was on a debate,
Yeah.
which is where I first heard about him.
Yeah, see,
And he only got 17 votes. So you're going to have to pull out some stops here now.
I know.
You-
I should. I really should. But the fact is, like, I don't have a ton of time. I don't have any money. And honestly, like, things got pretty serious in Louisiana for a while in a way that I didn't think that, like, comedy was going to be welcome in the campaign. Right now, it feels a little bit better, right? But like
Because of cops being shot or people shooting cops and so on.
well, because
kind of stuff. What else?
the problems with the cops. Yeah, that's
Right.
when my campaign turned serious.
Yeah.
Because I went to a protest in Baton Rouge where the cops turned guns on us, even though we weren't doing anything
Wow.
illegal, and it was terrifying. And then I got really serious about my campaign, and after that point, I didn't want to do it anymore, because it was like I wanted to do this as a comedian, and I don't have what it takes. I don't think that I have like the political views that are welcome in this conversation, really. Not this one specifically,
in
but like the
Louisiana.
larger political conversation.
Because
in
you're too
Louisiana.
liberal?
Well, I
Yeah.
think because it's too complicated these days, but your opinion is very relevant to the conversation, and I understand what you're saying. You don't feel like you can compete with the General Assembly, but it's so complicated because we all have a perspective. But we're all getting too fiery about our own perspectives, and we're not listening. It's not a conversation anymore. It's just
Right.
competing soliloquies, right? So,
Yeah, it got exhausting, that part too.
yeah.
So,
Have you been burned out already, you're saying?
yeah, a little
'Cause
bit.
it got-
I was getting a lot of harassment online
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
from-
now you're talking from whom?
from
And
white
what-
supremacists.
Oh, yeah.
And how'd they find you if you weren't even doing anything?
Well, I mean, I have a presence on the internet, and I spent a lot of time talking about David Duke right after he entered the race, and a lot of white supremacists decided to I got a weird meme that blamed the shootings in Dallas, the police shootings in Dallas on me, which was terrifying. And then I got a weird video.
But
and,
how flattering is that, really?
Well,
I mean, it might be scary, but this is the kind of publicity that you could actually... I mean, you don't want to get shot. Do you think it's serious? You got scared?
I got scared. I mean, I don't think that it. Well, so some of them were from people that I had met at some point and had lost their minds. But it was very strange, and it was just a lot. It was
You
a
got-
lot of just
You got threatening social media contact from people you know?
yes. From
Really? Well,
Yeah.
you could tell us their names if you like.
well, I don't want to. Because it's at least the one person that I knew who was threatening me is somebody who is very crazy. He used to be a comedian here in town, and he had a schizophrenic break. So I mean, those are the people you
That's
don't
an
want
actual...
We probably had
this
him on the
person-
show.
Well, I'd like to if we haven't. So
Yeah, I'll call him.
that person is actually legitimately nuts.
Yes,
So that's the kind of person who could get a gun and shoot you.
right.
And
Because
he,
it's very easy to get guns, as I said earlier.
apparently. So that guy really did believe that you're responsible for the Dallas
I think so.
police shooting.
I wasn't involved at all. Just so we know, I had nothing to do with it. Was sitting at home.
Okay. Have you ever been to Dallas?
I have been to Dallas.
Well, maybe.
Wait a second.
It's a good point.
So, maybe subconsciously not realizing that you did your fingernails like a tiger. You had something to do with that, the butterfly effect.
Hey, man.
Okay. So Andrew has got a guitar. So the main thing is now that we're trying to beat David Duke, and you might be right that there are a lot of white supremacists here, but have you had any positive feedback from people online?
Yeah, people love me on the
Okay.
internet. The
Okay.
youth love me.
Okay. So
So-
you could really do something.
Old
here.
enough to vote, youth?
Yeah.
The youths?
And by
That's
youth,
good.
I don't know.
And by youth, I mean
People.
30.
Yeah, 30 somethings.
It's a brave thing, you running for
Well, I
the
think
Senate.
you got to screw up your courage and go for it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you think, Andrew? I mean,
Yeah.
we've gone to all this trouble to make you our only
I know.
guest.
I really appreciate that.
I know. So, you have to,
know, you have to live
follow
up to
through.
that.
Yeah, you got to live up to it. Exactly. And we've got a lot more to talk about it while we on the other side of Andrew. Andrew, what are you playing for us?
Shit, well, I don't know. Got a couple new tunes I could play for you,
Okay.
little drafts. I could play you a song about fishing. I could play you a song, I don't know, feels more
Well, you-
jazzy and fresh. Or
Okay.
I could play an old song that might,
Fit the occasion.
yeah, but
But
freshness is nice.
You've been gone for a long time. You've been on the road for weeks now. Where did you go? Just around the United States this
Yeah,
time, right?
just up to Connecticut and back, basically.
And how did it go? Are people showing up?
It's great. I need to do that all the time because it's oppressively hot in New Orleans, and the summer is the good time to head up and catch the leaves changing in New England. I mean, come on.
And
you
you're
know?
finding people showing up to the shows who for discovering you?
Yeah, but I'm running on fumes right now. The record's 3 years old, and it's time to put out a new one, but that's coming shortly. And when I put out a new record and, we can put a little promo behind that, then we'll see what life is like.
Andrew's new record is called Welcome to My World.
It's not called that.
I like to say that every week. Hey, before you play a song, maybe I'll just do these couple of spots and then we can go into a song. Where are they, though? Does anybody know? I'm pretty sure. We only have 2 spots to read today. Okay, today's show is made possible. Today's senatorial forum is made possible by Basics Swim and Gym, where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style. You can get a bikini. Senator, do you have a swimsuit?
Yes.
What have you got, a bikini, a one-piece?
I have a one-piece.
A one-piece? You can get another one-piece at Basic Swim and Gym. You can also get a cover-up. Do you have a cover-up?
I don't have a cover-up, but
you
I
need a cover-up.
need one.
You definitely need a cover-up, especially if you're going to have an alibi, right? At the Senate, everyone needs a cover-up. You can get everything you need for the beach and poolside at Basic Swim and Gym. It's right across the street from the lingerie store Basics Underneath. It's on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. And thank you, too, to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you go to the Hangover Destroyer website, it's called hdestroyer.com, and you write the words happy hour on the coupon code, you'll get 30% off of Hangover Destroyer, and you too can seize the dawn. Thank you very much to Hangover Destroyer and Basics Underneath. That's our only 2 sponsors for the day. Sometimes
easy.
Pretty simple.
Too easy.
I like it. Okay, so Andrew, I think something new. What do you think, Kaitlin?
Let's play something new.
I think you should play something new.
Okay, here we go. What is it called?
I think it's either called Plans or Out of the Blue. But like blue sounds like blues, so let's just call it Plans. We said we would, but we never did. Camp out in the woods like we were kids. We never did. Jump on a train to see where the freight line led. Never did cut through the kudzu. Build ourselves a tree house with a roof that we could dream through. About all the things we've been meaning to do. Plans piling up on you. Don't it only break your heart when they fall through? We're all slaves to the moment. Let the moment come to you. It just makes for an easier hand to hold on to. Even if all we ever do is out of the blue. Even if all we ever do just pretend we know this thing. Yeah, we get lost, twirl ourselves around again. Plans piling up on you. Don't it only break your heart when they fall through? We're all slaves to the moment. Let the moment come to you. It just makes for an easier hand to hold on to. Even if all we ever do is out of the blue. Even if all we ever do, even if all we ever do is out of the blue.
I like it. What do you think, Kaitlin?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, me
Hey,
too.
thanks, yo. It's just, working draft. We'll
So
keep
that's
working
just
on
a little bit of it. That's not the whole.
I don't know, Grant.
song.
What do you think? That's not enough for you?
Oh, I thought it was too short.
Well,
I thought it needs to be a little bit longer.
just put a drum solo in there.
Yeah,
or
okay,
something.
put some sort of solo.
Yeah.
I thought it was beautiful. I thought it had a sort of James Taylor-y guitar part type.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
like old school. What did you think, Kaitlin, really?
I thought it was great. I think that you should definitely name it Plans.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a definite keeper.
Yeah. Out of the blue, it's a little lame, so let's keep out of the blue.
Okay.
Out of
Yeah,
the,
there's
I
that
like
Neil
the-
Young song too.
oh, right, yeah.
That's
yeah,
the same
true.
title. I like the falsetto, too. That was an interesting idea.
Yeah, I tried that out, and bass player Miles told me you should do that more in that tune, so then I did.
That's nice. So you've been working on that on the road?
No, that's fresh, like not even working on the road. I got some tunes,
Right.
that are new on the road, but that's new, even newer. I feel like the podcast is a good place to try like the real girl stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Because I feel like Grant loves everything, so then I just play it here.
Yeah.
He builds me up, encourages in me. Everybody who's got microphones in front of them and they think it's live, they're going to tell me it's great. It's all like a really great platform to play new stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no one's ever said on the show, no one's ever said, I wasn't that keen.
Exactly. They're afraid.
You think people are scared to tell you the truth, or they just don't
Yeah.
know? We just don't know anything.
No,
Just think
they-
there's a guy sitting here playing the guitar. It's got to be good.
Well, okay, because people recognize the subjective nature of creativity in general, and they don't want to blow up the spot by saying, yeah, I don't know, it didn't affect me that much, or I didn't feel feelings during that, or whatever that is.
Yeah, it could just be that. Well, we've had people on the show who have played, and we've politely said that was nice, thank you. But we haven't really
You
loved
like
it.
everybody, Grant. Come
I
on.
meant it.
But we
I
haven't
meant
loved it. But your stuff, you're more talented than most people.
I
You notice
don't know what
there's
that means, but thanks.
Well, I believe it, don't you think? I mean, some people you just can pick up a guitar and play and sing, and it sounds different than if I did it.
Sure.
Yeah.
No matter how many times I practiced or, sat at home playing. Do you play anything, Kaitlin?
No. I tried to play guitar for a while, but I could never get the bar chords down.
Bar chords are a bitch.
Yeah.
That's
So I
But then,
gave up.
it's just one of those little growing pains. You get past that F chord, and you're working on the cowboy chords. That mean little F chord makes everybody quit, and that's the bar chords.
Is it really? That's the one.
Yep.
That's the first obstacle.
Yeah.
If you get past that, you can move.
If you get past the F, you can play, you can play songs.
I tried for years.
Yeah. You can even learn songs without the F chord. Fuck the F chord. Let's
All
just
right,
do
fuck
G,
that.
D, C all the way home. 3 chords and the truth, brother.
Oh, no.
Nice
Your
catch,
guitar
okay.
fell over because it was offended by the fact that
I said the
you
F.
did-
Yeah.
So, Kaitlin Marone, Senator Marone.
Yes.
So your other platform I have in my research here that Graham gave me is this one. Says cops need therapy.
Yes.
Now that could really get you a lot of response on social media, I would think. Have you gone out with this anywhere? Hey, look, someone's
yeah.
ordering from the Waiter app here.
Nice.
Oh, that's a thing?
Hey, Waiter, how's it going? Yeah, the Waiter app is cool. Do you know about the Waiter app?
No, I don't know what that
It's
is.
spelled WAITR, and you can order food from Wayfare here and from other restaurants as well. And it's like the Uber for food.
Oh, okay.
They'll go get your meal for you from.
What's the delivery charge? What are they?
I'm not too sure, but it's not bad. I think because this guy invented this Waiter app in Lafayette and Lake Charles actually, called Chris Moe, and he started it there as a little business to deliver people food from restaurants that were good restaurants and not just Chinese takeout or pizza.
Right. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and it's spread all across the place, and now it's in all sorts of places, and the whole thing's blowing
It's
up.
got to be $5, right?
I think
What's it
it's-
cost?
I don't know. I don't know what
either.
it costs to get it delivered, but it's obviously affordable because it's really caught on. It's all over the place. It's in Lafayette, it's in New Orleans, it's in Houston. I think it's going to California somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
the guy's really onto something.
I like that for Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah, so
Wanna go
anyway, if
away.
you're looking for that, it's WAITR. Cops need therapy. How did you come up with this one?
Well, I was thinking about how we have this problem where cops shoot unarmed black men and women pretty regularly. And part of what they always say to say like why they did it is that they were afraid. And I mean, I believe them. But I also believe that it's probably because they have jobs where they are constantly inundated with traumatizing experiences, right? And combining that with like a history of things like racial profiling. And if you combine those two things, you get people who are jumpy, people who get scared real easy, people who are, I think, I don't know, I can't speak for all cops, but the cops that I have talked to have all expressed to me that, like, they feel that this is correct. They should be afraid. And I think that if cops were, like, maybe even, like, part of the job was that you had to actually, like, deal with your PTSD through therapy, we could probably reduce the violence that they accidentally perpetrate on people of color.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we actually are very good at treating PTSD. Like, it's something that, like, is definitely possible, but is never spoken about with police. It's always, like, combat veterans, right? Coming
So
back.
you're suggesting that most of the cops in America have PTSD from dealing with the general public?
Yeah, I would guess so. I mean, you see, like, the worst situations that a human can be in, you know? You see, I mean, I assume many of them see people die or confront, you know, come to places where people are dead.
Do you know whether cops have any psychological support?
I think some of them do, and I think a lot of times it's like some people are asked, you know, to do that. I don't think it's mandatory for them to regularly have it.
So what you're saying, Senator, is that you would sponsor legislation that would make it compulsory for
Yeah.
police in America to have therapy.
I don't
That's
see.
a good platform.
You know, Hillary Clinton actually mentioned that recently in the first debate, and I'm not saying she stole it from my platform. I'm just saying she was clearly inspired by it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean,
Have you been in
compulsory,
touch with her people?
No.
I could help you out,
I
'cause
have, like,
Some of these people will... Are you a Democrat? You're running as a Democrat?
I'm running independent.
Independent. Because some of these people, they give money to other people, as they call it, down the ticket, which I've never heard before, but
Oh,
that's a very
that's
popular
nice.
phrase now.
Yeah.
So you could get the Clinton campaign to give you $100,000 for your campaign.
Well, if I was running as a Democrat, maybe.
Well, there, now you're
Yeah.
not running as a Democrat, so
No.
that makes it difficult. But so who's the head of the independent party?
Me. That's my party. So,
So there's
I mean,
no
I'm not running under a party, but
So there's no independent organization. There's no one to give you money, is what I'm saying. So you're going to
Yeah.
have to have a Kickstarter or something.
yeah, theoretically.
You must have thought of that.
Well, I did think of that, but the thing is like something that is really something that I don't want to happen is to get in trouble for campaign finance fraud or something, and I definitely don't have the resources to, like, find somebody that can help me navigate that world. And I tried. I don't, and that's the
Don't
thing.
we know
like,
somebody? Charles
I know-
Marsala.
I know,
He
but
knows all about it.
I know, but that's like.
He's
I
the
don't think he
competition.
would. Yeah.
Well,
Which
I'm
is
pretty sure. I mean, it's probably more complicated than that because, yes, you can end up in a lot of trouble with the federal law. You can be fined and everything. That's true.
and people will come out like if for some reason, like, I was this, like, punk who was coming through, like, with my goofs, right, but started to, like, maybe split, like, the Democratic vote, right, somebody could very easily, like, look into my finances and find a problem with it and, like,
Yeah, but really, seriously, if you raised, suppose $25,000 or $50,000 on Kickstarter, which you could, and you spent every single penny of it with the receipts and everything for things like campaign buttons and flyers and so on,
sure,
how could anybody come back at you for that?
well, I could record it all incorrectly, right, I could
I guess you could not file with the right people.
I could not have the right bank account, even though I thought I did.
Yeah,
I
that's
could.
true.
There's so many things.
Yeah, and you have to file all these bits of paper, so that
There's
is
a
a
lot
real
of filing.
big problem. You're right.
Yeah. And I mean,
But you're being scared off by the system that you're trying to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I think it's
Well, that's no position.
This
to
wasn't
take.
something that I anticipated when I got into it, right? I wasn't anticipating how difficult fundraising would be, and I wasn't anticipating there'd be 23 other people in the race. These are like I had no idea, that was
Right.
going to happen. I signed up. I was like one of the first people to qualify for the ballot, and so when I did, it was like 5 people. And I had started my campaign before that, of course, like because everybody does. But I don't think anybody anticipated how many people would be joining.
So when because you were early to the thing, then did you get some publicity early on?
I did. I mean, I've been in lists. I've been in articles. There was an article in the Advocate where they posted, or they like wrote about a little bit about my campaign, and they like linked to one of my videos in the article and stuff. And you know, I've had some like local coverage, but not a ton of interest.
Nothing outside of Baton Rouge. You've performed in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, so supposedly some people know about you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot more people know about me than I thought. Like sometimes when I'm in town, just like in a place, anywhere, somebody will ask me how my campaign is going that I've never met before.
Okay, well that's
and they'll tell me that they're voting for me. So I don't know. Like I know for a fact that if I could push this harder, I could probably get more supporters. But I'm just like, I've also got, I've gotten a lot of pushback from my friends even who are like, well, but if you don't have a chance of winning, which I don't think I do, even if I worked as hard as possible, I could potentially like keep one of the people that has views closer to me from making the runoff. And that is not something that I would feel comfortable with.
Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like you're kind of giving up on even getting more votes.
Yeah.
So, are you regretful of...
I'm sorry that I'm on your podcast. I just like talking.
Would you, if you had to do it again, would you get on the ballot or maybe not?
Well, it was so easy to get on the ballot, you know?
But some of these
fun.
But there's Camrys out there, maybe a 93 Camry runs pretty good for a year or two, $600,
Yeah, but it wasn't my money, so.
Oh.
And it was given to me to get on the ballot, so.
Oh, people donated.
Nice.
One person donated $600 to me just to get on the ballot.
Nice.
Wow, that's a good person to have in your corner.
I know, but he said that was it. So.
So he wasn't interested in helping you pass that. But he must have had somebody. So you're there's something about you that's kind of serious. I mean, there's a lot of comedians in town.
Yeah, there are.
And in the state.
Yeah.
And they're not running.
But they're not 100% reliable. No offense to any of you if you're listening to this, but you guys all have a lot of things going on. And it's just like not necessarily like the best, like most reliable people to help you out, And then
but I'm just talking about you. There's something about you that's different from everyone else who's a stand-up comedian in New Orleans or in the rest of Louisiana, because you've actually done this.
Right.
A lot of people sit around, they'll smoke a joint or have a drink and say, it'd be really fucking funny if I ran for Senate, and someone says, yeah, you should fucking do it,
This
dude.
is a very similar situation, but I followed through.
Yeah,
right,
but you actually did it.
Yeah.
So you wanted to do it, right, Andrew? Don't you think there's something in that?
Yeah, I think it's not the $600. It's the bravery that you actually followed through that gives you a stump to stand on and say something, even if it's not about getting you votes. You've bought yourself a position to be interesting and be funny or be inspiring, whatever it is that you want to do with it. It is yours.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. Like, really, even like the small amount of stuff that I've done, it's been like I've really enjoyed being able to like put my ideas out there into the world. One of the big reasons also that I chose to run was because nobody even knew, like nobody, at least in like my age group that I spoke with, knew that there was a Senate race happening, and people. And also, I mean, even still, like, I'll have younger people come up to me and say, like, it's so cool that you're running against David Vitter, who's, like, not in the race, because the whole point of the race is that he's not running anymore.
Right.
So people are, like, not aware, because the presidential election is so distracting, right? So I didn't want a situation where a bunch of people were going into the voting booth and they are confronted with apparently 24 choices.
Well, who is likely to win this race? Do we even? I mean, do you know what's going on, Andrew? Are you following?
I am one of the people Kaitlin speaks of that does not know that a race is happening.
I knew there was a race because I knew Vitter wasn't running because he had to resign because of the whole prostitute thing, which is just unfortunate. but I don't know who the front runner is. Do you know who the front runner is?
Well, it changes. I mean, it's been changing
who
a lot.
are they?
Well, there's like
I'm sure
there's John Kennedy, right? The treasurer, I think.
Right. I think he's the treasurer. I think you're right.
And then there's Charles Bustani, who
he's the guy who
was
some
recently
scandal about him too, right?
Right. Some book.
Graham will tell us. What's the scandal about Charles Bustani?
Yeah, apparently he was involved with some police officers in what parish is that? St. James, where there were 7 or 8 prostitutes murdered, sex workers who were murdered.
Wow.
What? When you say involved, what
Well,
is
no,
it?
no. I mean, I don't. According to this book, and I can't remember who the author is.
Right.
He was involved with the police. He had some involvement with police officers. The police officers were suspected of somehow having something to do with these murders. Nobody's ever been charged. There was allegations of a serial killer, but that apparently that's
Was
been
the
discounted.
suggestion that Charles Bustani, who's running for Senate, is somehow involved with killing 8 sex workers?
More than yes, that's the suggestion,
That
but
would
the
mitigate
book didn't
against
say.
you
But the
winning
book
more than the
that was
pussy
not
grab.
what was suggested in the book. That's funny. What was suggested in the book was simply that he was involved with the cops.
So like maybe the cover. I don't want to say anything because
Yeah,
like I don't
yeah.
know. But the
We don't know anything.
other
so-
candidates have been
okay.
implying that he was a lot like
Right.
They're
So-
just keeping it so vague so that it sounds like maybe he's.
So this could be
Sinisterly vague.
this
Yeah.
could be a smear
Vaguely
thing, you
sinister.
mean?
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
in the book.
Yeah, so I didn't read the book, but I went to Amazon and I read look inside whatever, and so I read
Right.
some passages from the book, and it's just not. It's not what's being suggested with the sinister vagueness that
Right.
Kristen mentioned, but it is.
Caitlin.
Caitlin. What is up with you
why
two?
do people do that?
I don't know. I've never been called Kristen this much
Except
in
for
my
Qua-
I think
life.
it started with me because I somehow put Kristen on the calendar.
It's on the calendar.
Andrew grabbed it, and now I'm saying it.
Yeah, okay.
And I knew I was wrong.
I'm
But
sorry,
I
Kate.
do-
I'm sorry,
It's
Senator.
cool.
But there is, I was just going to ask you, Kaitlin, about the, there's a what am I trying to say? There's a,
Suspicion?
no, we're not talking about the Bustani thing anymore. I'm talking about the possibility that two Democrats make the runoff because the Republicans split their vote.
Yeah, I think that is possible, but I also
okay.
think that I don't think the Democratic vote is not going to be split either, though, because I think
Well,
that
there's 24
But there's
people. How many
fewer.
of those
There's
people
there's
are
only
serious?
few.
sin-
There's
There's
not
only a
very many
few.
Democrats.
yeah, and in
Oh, they're
that it's
mostly
like
Republicans.
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Does
much
any-
more.
Okay, so who is the number one Democratic candidate in the
Probably
whole?
Foster Campbell.
Yeah.
Foster Campbell. Okay.
But I
And
think-
I think Caroline's coming. I think she's
Yeah.
coming in close.
I
She's
think-
second or third.
So she's a Democrat. And
Caroline
she's
is.
from here, and she's too busy to come on this podcast.
She's
but
preparing for the press conference
She's got
that
the
I've
press
been invited
conference,
to.
yeah.
She's doing hard work. I actually think that she has a really good chance of.
Oh, really?
Of, yeah,
so
of
she's got
beating
a
him.
shot.
Yeah.
Is she related to the guy who was on the show from Glow Airlines?
Yeah, she's
Trey
Troy's.
Fayard?
See, I'm doing it again. She's Trey's sister.
Trey's sister.
Yes.
Okay. And does she really live in that giant house on St. Charles Avenue? That's what someone
don't
told
know.
me.
I don't know.
That beautiful, big, giant, like wedding cake house
She
on the
does-
corner of like Rosa Parks or whatever it is in St. Charles Avenue. You know what I'm talking about? It's gorgeous.
I know the house. I don't know if
Someone
she
told me
lives
that's Caroline Fayard's house, but it has a poster outside, but it doesn't. You know how people tell you stuff.
Yeah,
I
I've
do.
heard that she is very wealthy, but I don't know if that.
Yeah, they bought an airline. So,
Right? Yeah.
Oh, that's a family business? He's
Yeah.
in it with her.
Uh-huh.
Oh, she's in the business
Yes, she
with
is.
Trey.
Yes.
Okay, well, that guy's an interesting guy, so maybe
Yeah.
she's cool. I don't know anything about her
She's
except she
super
didn't
cool.
show
I've
up
met
today.
her. She's great.
She's good?
I like
All
her.
right.
I was
No
looking-
endorsement. I'm not endorsing, but I do like her.
I was looking forward
Well,
to meeting her.
we're endorsing Caitlin on
Okay.
the show, right?
Yes.
I
We're
think that's
officially
official.
endorsing
Yeah.
Kaitlin Marone for
Great.
Senate.
Yeah. If you get it mixed up, it starts with a K. If you're thinking Kristen,
Hey,
when you
this
get
is an
there, it's
awesome idea,
Caitlin.
and we hadn't really discussed
Yeah.
this, but we could endorse you.
We certainly
Shall we?
could.
Can
I mean,
we,
you
Graham? Are we
just
allowed
did.
to do that?
Yeah.
We are. We're
Okay.
not. We're
Ju-
not.
you
A,
can't
I
not
think
rescind
we-
it.
Yeah, we can't take it back.
No, we're not
now.
saying. Okay, cool. All right, so we're endorsing you for Senate. How awesome is that?
Should we
Pretty
get a
good.
hat?
That's
Should we get
great.
like a
Never endorsed
crown?
anyone.
Does anybody have a crown?
What do we have to do? Can you write that on your campaign poster if you had one, or would we put it out
On a
there?
web, we can endorse her on our website.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can put our endorsement on your website.
Yeah,
What if
that's
we
what I'll
get-
do.
It'd be great if we got hate mail. We haven't got any hate mail. for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a
Yeah,
We
while.
haven't
we're not-
gotten any. Have
No,
we gotten
since-
any ever?
Yeah. Yes, we blocked a number of people on.
didn't
I
know
just
that.
blocked them.
Really?
Yeah,
on our
I
Wait,
do
Twitter
I
too.
know
account.
Facebook blocked us once.
And we've got knocked off Facebook a couple
But
of
I
times,
didn't
but that
know.
was for nudity. It was for naked photos. But I mean, artwork. But yeah, we've got all kinds of idiotic people saying shit about us.
Did not know that.
But I just block them and then we never hear it again. But
Yeah, I
it's probably
do
not
too.
the best thing. Is that what you do? Are you supposed to do that, or are you supposed to engage people and?
Well, you're not supposed to engage people, but sometimes I do. But most of the time, it's just a tweet that's just a single word, which is Jew. Just Jew.
Nice.
Jew,
Just
as in
Jew.
as in Jewish.
Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
No, I'm actually Arabic, so it's a little bit weird. But
That is.
not
It's a
that
little
it's like, right?
Well, I think
It's like kind of
People accuse you of being Jewish for some reason.
Yeah, well, like,
Why?
how is that an accusation?
I know. I
First
was
of
going to
all?
ask
It's
that
like-
myself.
No, I mean,
I know, but for them
because
it is.
because they don't like Jews. So why
Yeah.
would they suspect you're one?
Well, I look like one.
Okay.
I
You look
guess.
Semitic, do you?
Right,
I wouldn't.
yeah.
I actually wouldn't have not have thought that. So who's from somewhere? Your parents are Arabic, or your grandparents somewhere way back in the?
My grandparents are Lebanese.
So that's just too far back,
Yeah.
isn't it? For anything.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like to think that far back either. But
That's crazy.
yeah. But yeah, so it's fun. That's a fun thing.
So you got that going. You got that going for you too.
What?
The whole Jew-Arab thing.
Oh yeah. The confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
People
good.
love to be confused.
Yeah, I think misinformation.
There's anything-
I think misinformation is good, but I'm not sure if running for Senate it's going to help you or not.
Well, the American people, they love Arabs right now, so. Okay, that's
Well-
a little uncomfortable.
Where are we with that? Are we down on Arabs? We're not down
Well,
on
I
Arabs.
mean,
We're
Donald
down
Trump is. Yeah,
on.
no,
But
I
it's-
know.
We're not. No, it's worse than that.
Right.
We're down on a religion now.
Yeah.
It's not even a race of people.
People don't know the
Wait, which
difference.
is
It's a
worse, a
religion.
religion or which is worse to be down on, a religion
Oh,
or
I
a race
think a
of
religion
people?
is way worse to be down on a religion. You can.
Oh, I think it's way worse to be down on a race of people because
I
you're
think
talking
that
about
both
more.
are equally
They're pretty
bad.
bad.
But
yeah.
both are
no, you know
equally
what?
bad.
I don't agree. Racism is just like the American way of life. It's people are racist, but we're not anti-religion. No one's ever anti-religion here. You can
Well,
say,
no, I mean,
that's
you can
not-
say,
that's not
I
true.
hate.
That's not true.
Oh,
From
no
like
one.
the beginning of America, like okay,
Come
so
on. Was there ever been an
people hated
anti-religious
Catholics.
movement?
There's been a lot of anti-Semitism in the
People-
world.
yeah.
That's
Yes,
a
there's tons of it, but
that's
not
a
in
religion.
Not in the United States. There's
Oh, you don't
never
think
been.
so? You
There's
don't
never
think
been
so?
organized. There's never been organized anti-religion.
It's very loose, and you know what?
wait,
you don't
I
have to be
wanna-
People
organized to be
are
dangerous.
people might not like Catholics, Jews, or Muslims or whatever, but there's never been an organized voice of that hate,
Well,
of
actually,
hatred.
in America, there has been organized anti-Semitism around the same time that the Nazis rose up. Like, colleges wouldn't let in Jews for a long time. I mean, because people felt like they could, there were too many of them already. And, like, I
Yes,
mean, and
Jews
that's
have been
organized.
excluded from country
and
clubs,
then-
and Jews have been excluded from
Right.
from schools, but there's never been a real voice.
Well, I think you
that's
could
never
call-
been acceptable.
I think you could call the Klan an organized.
Was the Klan
for sure
anti-Semitic as well?
Yeah,
I thought that was
absolutely.
just
Yeah.
against black people.
Absolutely.
Oh,
No,
okay.
that's why it's David Duke supporters that send me the tweets that are just Jew.
Jew.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think the people know the difference between being an Arab and being a Muslim. I don't think most
No, I
people
agree.
know what the difference is between that. So that, I mean, because
Okay.
for them it is kind of a race thing. Like, I don't know what else you would call it because, like, because it's all based on how you look. Like, I mean, I don't think that I look super ethnic in any way, but like, my dad gets stopped at the airport every time he goes through, and like, he's not. I mean, he just looks like an Arab man, but he's from Buffalo, so it's not, and he's not a terrorist, But
Wait a minute. It says he's from Buffalo. All right, let him in.
right.
That's pretty interesting, though. I can see why you've sort of pulled back a little bit here, because there's a lot of stuff you haven't done anything actually, except declare that you're going to run for Senate.
Well, yeah, I
For
mean,
the Senate, and you made a couple of jokes here and there.
I put out a lot of
And now-
statements, but I mean, like, I don't think, but I've like basically, I suspended, I suspended my campaign. I don't have the time, and I
Well,
want
okay,
to keep running, but are we running out of time?
We're getting out of here in 1 minute. So
Yeah.
before we get out of here,
Okay.
let's come up with a conclusion here. Are you really going to suspend this thing and you don't give a shit about it? Or
I
are
do
you
give
going
a
to screw
shit.
up your courage and go for it now for the next however many days? However many days are there?
Don't know.
27.
Yeah. I'm going to do my best to screw up the courage and do some stuff in the next 27 days. But
Okay.
I also
Well, let's do it
might,
then.
right before the election, try to throw my votes towards somebody else just in case.
You could endorse someone else.
Just in case, like, if it looks like it's close, I might endorse one of the not pro-choice Democrats that we are forced to decide between because they're better than the Republicans.
Well, that would be a magnanimous gesture to make at the end of the
These-
campaign. Take your followers and say, I want you to please not vote for me, but vote for someone else.
but also,
I've
I
never
need
heard
the
of anyone
affirmation.
doing that.
People do it.
Do they?
Yeah, it's not unusual, but I also would like the affirmation of the votes. Like, that would just be,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I'm conflicted.
That's
Well,
tough.
let's go
Yeah.
for it then. We'll help you.
I think that's a
We've endorsed
valid
you.
dilemma. You're talking about
Be so
you're calling
flattering.
it courage, but it's really about proper judgment from this point on. Sure, you can muster up the courage and you can do it, but maybe that's not the right call for your state. You know, if
Right.
you're trying to, if somebody needs those votes, who knows? Maybe.
What if you won, though? What if you actually found that people liked you enough to make the runoff?
Then I would go to the Senate and I would make sure that I reached across the aisle to make sure that good legislation for Louisiana got passed on the federal level.
All right.
There you go.
That's enough for me.
That's
I'm
our
in.
candidate. We're in. Kaitlin, thank you so much
You
for
just
joining
tell
us.
us who to vote for, Christina.
This has been as interesting
Caitlin.
as
It's
we
Caitlin.
thought that we could have got.
Kaitlin Marone.
Kaitlin Marone for Senate. What number are you on the ballot?
You know, I haven't looked at
Okay, that's a low.
That's the only
That's
way
a
to
low
do it.
point to end on.
There's
They
only
got the
two
names
ladies.
these days. Come on.
Why?
the
There's
only
only
way.
two women. There's Caroline Fayard and you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with a K and not a French name.
Does it have your first name on there?
Yeah.
So it does. So it
Yeah,
says
it has
Marone,
Kaitlin.
Caitlin.
Yeah. Not Kristen, Caitlin.
Caitlin.
But close enough.
There's only two women, you and Caroline Fayard. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. And 22 men.
You know what
Yeah.
would be interesting if they got you too confused, if enough voters got the two of you confused that you made the runoff.
Oh, man.
We'll see. It could happen.
That would be crazy.
Well, we could get buttons made with our first campaign that says "Call me Caroline"
With
What
a
is-
K.
with a K.
Down with a K.
Yeah.
Well, this is exciting.
It is
Okay.
exciting.
Well, let's see if you make the. First of all, let's see if Charles Marsala wins this court case,
I hope
and
he
see
does.
if you make the debate.
Yeah.
That would be very cool. Then we see you on statewide TV at least.
Right.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, when you do win and you become a senator, don't forget us,
Oh, yeah, no.
because we were here at the beginning.
Yeah, and
Making a
as,
federal fund for podcasting.
Yeah.
as official supporters, I feel we should be inviting to the official viewing party if you do get on to the debate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
Oh, we could
Be
go
invited to
to
that.
We
Baton
could go.
Rouge.
Yeah, we should just go to the debate.
Totally.
Yeah, you
Well,
guys
we'll
are
come
gonna-
on the bus with you. You have a,
Yeah,
we'll get a bus.
I'll get a bus.
This is going to be great. Well, so every show we do now, between now and the election, we'll talk about you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we'll push that out for
Maybe
you.
we
We'll
can
make
get
we'll make
the
you an
bus.
ad. You give me a campaign ad, and we'll run it for you for free.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Okay, we can do that. And we can encourage people, if you're listening to this and you want to do something, go to KaitlinMarone.com, or is that the name of it?
Yes.
KaitlinMarone.
Yes.
And there's a link to that on our website. It's neworleans.com.
Yes, thank you.
Well, that's been Happy Hour for today, our very first ever Louisiana Senate Happy Hour,
Yeah.
cocktail, and forum.
Yeah.
Thank you to the other candidates.
The producer of our show is Graham DaPonte. Christian Unruh is our music director, and Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Asher Griffith has been our live feed director today. Thank you, Asher, for putting that on Facebook Live. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, it's neworleans.com, where you can find tons of other happy hours to listen to, as well as some other shows we make here. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, True to the Game, with the very funny Chris True, Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canata, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tucker. Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu, the podcast about death, which is simply called Death, the podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. Questions from the Waiting Room with psychiatrist Nick Pajic. And the Psych Ward Show with the inimitable Dr. Ross Shields. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com and itsbatonrouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and on Twitter and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos are taken today by Alison Moon. If you listen to this show on a podcast app that you like, thank you very much for subscribing to us. Take one moment now to rate and review us if you can. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Freret Street in Uptown New Orleans. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting. For itsneworleans.com, for Andrew Duhon and Alison Moon, Senator Kaitlin Marone, Asher, Graham, Thomas, and everybody here at Wayfare and back at our office at INO Broadcasting. Thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.